Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. Today I'm bringing you the third installment of my How to Get Started Homeschooling series. And today I'm going to be talking about why you shouldn't buy that curriculum just yet. The first week that I started this series, I talked about legalities. Last week I talked about deschooling, living every day as if it were a Saturday. Today I'm going to talk to you about that transition from the deschooling period into the homeschooling period. I know a lot of parents, including myself when I started, are really excited to get started homeschooling. So you look all over the internet at the different homeschool curriculums and you're reading the reviews and you're asking people what they use. And those are great ideas for when you're going to go out and start purchasing homeschool curriculums. But you don't want to do that just yet, right as soon as you start homeschooling. What you want to do is you want to try to ease into it. Okay, you don't need to go out and buy the curriculum right away. And there's actually a number of reasons. Because even though you've watched your kids learn throughout this deschooling period, you haven't actually had any time to intentionally do activities with them. This time is a good time for you to start doing activities with your kids with intention. Take them to the library, go on field trips. Fill your house with lots of interesting stuff, maps, globes, art supplies, paper. Spend a lot of time outdoors. Go to the creek, find some tadpoles. Try to identify different types of moss or do tree rubbings. Just you want to do things that are educational with your kids, but you don't want to start out right away with a curriculum that you probably spent a lot of money on if you still haven't gotten a good taste yet of how your kids are going to learn best. So this is really a good time to do that. So when you actually first start homeschooling your kids, not deschooling, but homeschooling, you really want to ease into it. And it's going to feel a lot like the deschooling process did, but you're going to do it, like I said, with intention. Another thing that you want to do at this time is read up on different homeschooling methods. I know we talked about how homeschooling doesn't have to look like school at home, and it doesn't. And for a lot of people, it does end up looking that way. For some people, it just works for them, and that's fine too. If you go through this process and find that you and your children are both really comfortable with doing the textbook learning style, that's fine. But there are other homeschooling methods that you should read up on too. For example, and I'm just going to get into this really quickly. I'm not going to delve into it too deeply. But there is unschooling, which looks a lot like deschooling. The difference is that you as the parent, a lot of times, depending on what state you're in, you're going to pay attention to your kids, see what they're doing, and you're going to facilitate their learning. If you see that they're into, say, tropical fish, you might take them to an aquarium or go to the library and get some books out or find a National Geographic documentary. And that's what unschooling is. Unschooling really means not school. They just use life as their curriculum. Another method is unit studies. A unit study is you take a particular topic and you use that one topic to cover all of the subject areas. And we do use the unit study approach a lot in our house. Right now, my kids and I are doing a unit study on the Earth. So what we're doing is I have one child reading 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Another one is reading it's Magic School Bus. I think they're looking inside the Earth. And another one is reading another Magic School Bus one about volcanoes. So for their silent reading time, they're all reading books that have to do with the Earth. So that right there is their literature and it's their science. We also have been reading up on different landforms, different places, the continents. Right there is geography. They will be making volcanoes soon or salt dome maps. That's art. And that's really what a unit study is. You take one topic and you use that topic instead of textbooks to teach about something. And you know what? I'm going to tell you that it's a great time saver. Another method is Charlotte Mason. And I'm not really informed much about Charlotte Mason homeschooling. I do love a lot of the principles. I know that it's a lot of short lessons, and she uses she's not alive anymore, but she really was big on living books, things that weren't twaddle or books that are written down to less than a child's level, kind of dumbed down books. She's really into using living books or literature to teach, and I really like that too. So a lot of the learning also that we do in our house is living books, and we also do short lessons. Our lessons are only about 10 to 15 minutes long. So even though I'm not an expert on Charlotte Mason, we do incorporate a lot of her philosophies into our homeschool. Another method is relaxed homeschooling or eclectic homeschooling. And generally, that's what I refer to myself as. Relaxed homeschoolers just take what they like out of each different type of homeschool approach, and they incorporate that into their homeschool depending on how their children learn and how they like to do things themselves. So that's what we do. We do, like I said, a lot of Charlotte Mason homeschooling principles in our house, but we also do unit studies, and we also have a lot of unschooling philosophy in our house. There are times that we really just focus on the 3 R's, and my kids are left to their own devices the rest of the day to go out and explore things that they're interested in. So we really do take a lot of the different approaches into our homeschool, and I'm going to tell you that a lot of times when people start homeschooling, they will start out with a school at home approach, because even if you've deschooled, if you were in school your whole life, it's going to be hard for you to let that go. And I'm going to tell you that right now. So it's okay if you still feel comfortable starting out with school at home. But what I found with just about every homeschooler I've met is that they've started with the school at home curriculum and have loosened up more and more and more and more. And by the end of the time, I think that a good portion of homeschoolers do end up as eclectic homeschoolers or relaxed homeschoolers. They're kind of taking different methods from different approaches and using what works best. And that's really what you should do. You want to tailor your child's curriculum to fit them. So this transitional time now, when you're actually starting to homeschool, is a great time to actually see how your kids do things hands-on while you are beside them instructing them. That's why you don't want to go out right at the very beginning, and just because somebody said that a curriculum worked good for them, it doesn't mean it's going to work good for you. And it might, and that's great if it does. But a lot of curriculums can cost a lot of money, and I'm trying to save you that. And another thing I'm going to tell you is that the library is great. We use the library more than we use regular curriculum in our house. Like, honestly, I could homeschool all of my kids, I think, just by using the library. It's a valuable resource. And before you even start thinking about buying the textbooks or whatever it is that you're deciding to do, think about the library. They are such a great resource because they don't have just books. A lot of libraries, especially bigger libraries, have programs for kids. There are computer classes. I know that ours on the website has online language learning, foreign language that you can do. There are so many different things that your library probably offers. So I really suggest that you also check that out before you decide to start buying your curriculum. And another thing that I want to say before I go today is that what I want you to remember is that curriculum doesn't have to be textbooks. I know a lot of times when we talk curriculum, we're referring to textbooks, and we all do that. Even seasoned homeschoolers refer to textbooks as their curriculum. But curriculum is really just your method of how you're going to be teaching your kids. So it doesn't have to be just textbooks. Your curriculum can be life. Your curriculum can be hands-on projects. Your curriculum can really be anything that you want it to be. You don't have to just limit yourself to thinking only textbooks, because most kids, in my experience, although schools use the textbooks, they have so many kids, they have to try to keep everybody learning uniformly. It doesn't work very well, but they have to try at least to keep everybody learning uniformly. But in reality, kids all learn differently. And in my own experience, most kids don't learn best with textbooks. So you really do want to give different things a try before you decide finally what you're going to put your hard-earned money into. So next week, I'm going to be talking to you about how to find the right curriculum. I hope to see you then.